Do you own your own business, or does it own you? If you're ready to take back control of your life, kick the crap out of your way, shorten your learning curve, design your own version of success, and claim your entrepreneurial freedom, then you're in the right place. This is Do Business on Your Own Terms with your host, Bob Holdsworth.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. It's Bob Holdsworth. This is Do Business on Your Own Terms. Let me ask you a personal question. Why do you do what you do? Now, the entire premise behind Do Business on Your Own Terms is to create a specific, very personal, one-of-a-kind version of success. No two entrepreneurs or business owners are exactly alike. Even if they're in the same business, on the same street, next door to each other, they're not the same. So therefore, they don't exactly want the same things, and that's perfectly fine. In order for you to be able to commit to do the work necessary to face up to and overcome the challenges that are going to get put in your path over the years, you have to have a very strong why. Now, in my case, when I started my first business well over 30 years ago, I wanted to be my own boss. I didn't like working for other people. That was it. I'm going to go out on my own. I'm going to control my own destiny. Later, that why was still there, but it changed a little bit. And lifestyle and family time became a driving force for me, especially after my twins were born. They're 15 years old now, but that was a huge deal when my wife and I decided we were going to have kids, and we wanted to live a certain way and work a certain way and have time with those kids as they were growing up. And we opted never to do daycare with the kids. It was just a choice of ours, but it was a really compelling why that drove a lot of the business decisions we made. So based on my why, I had to rethink and reorganize the way that I did my consulting practice at the time. And it's something that you can do too, if your why is strong enough. Knowing those reasons allows for focus when distractions pop up, when new opportunities are put in your path, when offers for what seems like a good joint venture comes your way, and the inevitable BSOs or bright, shiny objects that always appear. You kind of have to go back and take a look at what it is that's being offered to you or put in your path, bounce it up against the wall of your why and see how it comes back. Is it something that makes sense to do, or will it impact your life in such a way that you have to pass on it? And it's okay to pass on it. So again, for me, it's my wife and kids. Anything that gets in the way of the lifestyle that we've planned when it bounced against the why, when something's offered to us, if it goes against that, it's not an option that's worth it to us. Regardless of what others may think, it's our life and we're going to live it our way. You should be doing that and working towards being able to do that as well. And a lot of times you get kind of stuck and don't have the ability to do that. And part of that is a lot of times we don't identify our why. We kind of know it, but we never articulate it. And that's the first step, actually the articulation of it. Whether you do it in writing, whether you have it visibly on your desk somewhere, on your computer somewhere, whether you have pictures in your office. I have a couple pictures in my office, and I can look at those pictures and say, is what I'm being offered worth giving up the time with my family? And then make the decision based on that. In fact, in 2016, it became very clear to us that the primary business that we were operating at that point in time was causing us way too much stress in our lives. Even though $2.5 million business, made a great living from it, it was causing us too much stress. It was impacting our lives in a negative fashion. It no longer matched our life goals, so we sold it. Now, it took some time to do that because we wanted to make sure we were taking care of our employees and our customers and making the transition for everybody as easy as possible. But we knew that it had to be done for us. This is the kind of thinking that's required if you're going to claim your entrepreneurial freedom. If you truly want that freedom, you're going to have to fight for it. People close to you, family, coworkers, employees, other people, neighbors are going to try to steal that dream of yours by telling you you're making a mistake, that that's not a business that you should be in. Your idea will never work. The ability of balancing life and work. First of all, you can't balance life and work. You have to make a choice. So there are times that work has to take precedence within the framework of your why. And there's a lot of times that your why and your family are going to come first, but you can't really balance it. It just never works. So you have to identify and that advice that's coming your way. People will tell you it's not the right time to start a business. It's not the right time to grow a business. It's not the right time to expand a business. Only you know that. If you know your numbers and you know what's in it for you and what it's going to take to get there, and it's part of your goals and your why, then it is the right time to start a business, expand your business, whatever that is. Some of the advice is probably very well meaning. Some of it may be based in jealousy. Some of it's going to be offered by people who have no business dispensing business advice at all. You know, we all have a family member, whether it be a brother-in-law, sister-in-law, uncle, cousin, somebody who has never run a business successfully, probably isn't even a great employee for where they work, but they read the Wall Street Journal, they read Entrepreneur and Inc., they've got some knowledge, and by God, they're going to share it with you. As the line from the movie says, smile and wave, boys. Just smile at them. Thank you very much. That's interesting. Walk away. Disregard it. Success and happiness is a direct result of your actions matching your goals. When they're not in sync, everything just kind of feels off. It feels hollow. It feels unfulfilling. It's where the anger, the confusion, the frustration, the analysis paralysis, all that stuff creeps in. And the reason is that your actions aren't congruent with the goals that you have. And, you know, you're not really sure why you're doing what you're doing. It's time to step back and refocus that. So to get to your why, you first have to kind of start, at least I believe you first have to start with a guiding theme, a reason, a passion. You know, why are you in the business that you're in? So from a personal lifestyle goals, we talked about what mine are. From a business perspective, my mission is to make it easier for entrepreneurs like you to get to the point where you can enjoy your business again, fall back in love with your business again, cut through some of that frustration so that you can enjoy the freedom that comes with being an entrepreneur rather than being tied to your business in such a way that it becomes a burden. And that's a strong passion and why for me, is to help the few that are willing to do the work. The other thing is it's really critical to have important baseline principles. Certain things, must-haves, won't-dos, will-nots. Those are what you will and what you will and won't do. Very strong polar opposites, but you need them both. So, for example, I established core principles. I have 6 of them. You don't have to have 6. You can have 1. You can have more than that. But I'll share with you my 6 and share with you in a minute about how decisions get made to keep me in congruence with those 6. First one is a passion for client service, every level of the organization. Since the first day I opened my doors, I've always had a live body answering the phone. I've never liked voicemail and push 1, push 2, all that kind of stuff. If we're really busy, yeah, you might get voicemail. Most of the time, you won't. So live body is important to me, customer service, making sure that my clients have a great experience, to do everything I can in my power to do that. Number 2, I will support charities and causes. And these are in no particular order, but I will support charities and causes I believe in regardless of popularity. So that goes back to the story in episode 1 about the gentleman who was trying to support a road race and thought it was going to be a little bit unpopular potentially if he made that choice. I'm the same way. If I feel strongly about a charitable organization, I am going to support it. And if you don't like it, that's fine. Find your own. Third one is enjoy life, make money, do good. In that order. Family before profit. Family time before profit. The money will come. If you're doing and you're in sync with your goals and you're talking to the right people and offering the right product and service, the money will come. But money without enjoying life makes no sense to me. So, number 4, I will say what I need to say and what my clients need to hear. There are a lot of coaches and clients out there these days that literally are trying to sell you a pile of crap. They want to leech onto the organization. They want to stay with you forever. They're looking at the cash cows. There's even a term for it in some circles of landing a whale of a client and going out of your way to try to do that. Yes, you want to have good clients. Yes, you want a large client is great. My whole goal in working with a client is to see them succeed and then give them the tools that they can forward on. You know, the old adage of you can feed a man for a day or you can teach him to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. I would prefer to give my clients the tools that they can move forward and help them get there, and then be there for course corrections as necessary, rather than have a client for life that is dependent, trying to make them independent of me, but then you become a resource for that person and they come back over and over and over again. And straight talk is what I think is missing in the industry today. If you have a company, especially a family-run business, and one member of the family is causing the problems within the business, somebody's got to tell the emperor he's got no clothes. Somebody's got to be able to say that. That tends to be my job. I'll be the one that says it and let the chips kind of fly. Number 5, pass on contracts, projects, and relationships that I feel are not a right fit. Happens all the time. People will come up and they just, do that the relationship's not going to work? It's okay. It's you. It's not me. Or actually, it probably works better the other way. It's me. It's not you. But you get the idea. You have to back away from those projects and say no. And I've done it a couple of times. I've actually turned down a particular client and said, this, we're not going to be able to work together. This is not going to make sense. It's not a good fit. I can't help you get where you want to go. Here are the reasons why I think it's not going to be a right fit, but here's somebody I think could help you. And you give them a resource. Those folks have gone away, done what they needed to do. And it has, in one case, a year later, this person referred a client to me that was a right fit. They didn't go away mad, but they got to a point where they realized that I was going to be a resource for them. And I was giving them the straight answer, and they respected it, because it doesn't happen all that often, as you well know, if you've been in business for more than 10 minutes. And number 6, I will not work with people who are constantly negative, obnoxious, lazy, condescending, prejudiced, or waste their time or mine. Sounds a little arrogant, and it may very well be, but I know that I won't have a good experience with those folks, and therefore I know I can't provide a good experience to those folks, because we'll be butting heads philosophically, and that's not going to be good. We don't have to agree on everything. Better if we don't agree on everything, but basic life philosophies and basic outlook on life has to have some congruence for you to have a good coaching relationship and a good customer-client relationship.
If you really want entrepreneurial freedom and you want to be able to do business on your own terms, you have to start by taking action. A great place to start is by grabbing your complimentary copy of Bob's 8 Steps to Freedom. Go to oyot.com/8 steps and claim yours today.
Going back, there's a client who actually violated 3 out of 5 of these. We have a thing about charities. We donate about 5% of net profits to charities, and we usually pick 2. This year we're doing Wreaths Across America, which honors veterans, and Make-A-Wish, which takes care of stuff and helps sick kids fulfill a dream. Under the contracts, everybody, when the client gets contract, it says, which of these 2 would you like to support? And they choose, and that's where the profit from their project goes. Well, a client came in and said, I'm not signing this contract, and I'm not making a choice. I don't like either one of those. I'm my favorite charity. I want a 5% discount on the contract. And I'm like, it doesn't work that way. You're hiring me to do work. I'm going to do what I want to do with my profits, and I'm going to donate to one of these charities. Which one would you like? And he said, no, I'm not going to do that. Give me a 5% discount and we're not going to do business. Okay, we're good. Thanks. We're not going to do business. You violated the ability for me to support the charities that I believe in. Number 5, I'll pass on contracts and projects I don't feel are a right fit. And I'm not going to work with people who are negative, obnoxious, lazy, condescending, prejudiced, or waste my time and theirs. 3 of the 6 violated just by not entertaining that and wanting that 5% discount for themselves. Missed the whole point of enjoying life, making money, and doing good. So we never did do business together, and I'm just fine with that. You have to have those core principles that you're going to live up to as well. They help you make decisions that matter. If everything, when you make a decision, it's tied to your why. If it makes sense, do it. If it doesn't, pass on it. An example, you're asked to do a speaking tour. And that speaking tour is for multiple cities, one right after the other. You're going to be away for nights, several nights in a row. And your wife and your kids have some stuff that you need to be part of and want to be part of. And does it make sense for you to take that project and go on that and interact your family time? Your why is critical to you? Or is there another way to do it, in which is, in my case, I will go out, do a speaking gig, come home for a couple of days, go out and do another one. So instead of doing 5 or 6 cities, I might choose to only do 3 on that tour. Projects that have a long on-site time. Again, we talked about the coaches and the clients who want to have a leech effect where they kind of suck onto the client and stay forever. If there's a reason for it and it's a long-term project, that's great. If it's strictly a way of milking the cow, not something that makes a whole lot of sense, not something that I would want to do. I'd rather do short bursts of focused energy and get people going on certain things and moving forward. Clients, I've had one client, and you probably have too, that said, well, if I'm going to do business with you, I want your cell phone number and I want you to be available for me 24/7. No, I value my time off. I value my life. I will be available. If it's an emergency, that's one thing. But because you've had a stream of consciousness issue at 3:00 in the morning, write it down and we'll deal with it in the morning. Well, then I expect all of my vendors to be available 24/7. Okay. Well, the other ones can. Again, it's important for you to think about which ones you don't want to do, which clients don't make sense to work with. So where are you now? If you've already built or in the process of building the other part of this episode, a success that you hate. I talked a little bit about the business that we had. If you are in a business and you've falling out of love with it and it's a success that you hate, it's probably because you got muddied priorities and you've allowed stuff to creep into the way. And by creep, meaning you have core principles, but you've allowed some flexibility in those core principles. And now you have a client you don't like, or a relationship that's not working well, or you took on a joint venture that your little voice inside told you not to do. So you've allowed creep. Time to fix those. Facing the truth. What did you do? What crap did you put in your way that you've got to move? Talking about my business, for 28 years, we built a business in the medical billing industry. $2.5 million. We sustained that for 10 to 12 years, 93% client retention, 31% market share. The industry began to change. Compliance costs went up, legal costs went up, benefit costs went up, margins shrunk. Not really a way to control things without impacting the family by expanding into multiple other states that also added cost and infrastructure and risk. Just wasn't there anymore. It did not have the same perceived value that we had before. So we found a good way to exit that business and get our life back. You have to be willing to do that if you truly want the freedom that we're talking about here. It's important to clarify what's important to you. Refine your schedule as necessary by putting important things on there, kids' events, spouse events, vacations. An episode that we're going to come up to in next month or the month after is going to be controlling your time like it's money, because it is. Getting an accountability partner, that could be somebody that another company owner that you work with. It could be a coach, whether it's me or somebody else, that's going to hold you accountable to what you say you're going to do to get where you want to go. I'm going to leave you. We're almost done for the day of this episode. And I'm going to leave you with a quote from Robert Louis Stevenson. And it goes like this: to know what you prefer instead of humbly saying amen to what the world tells you you ought to prefer is to have kept your soul alive. What is your why? Don't build a success you hate. Next week, we're going to talk about knowing what business you're really in. It is often a disconnect between what the business owner thinks they're supposed to be doing and what the clients perceive they're actually doing. And the way, as long as you get yourself on the customer side of the table and understand what your business really is to them, you can change the way you market, change the way you price, change who you do business with. So that's what we're going to do next week. I look forward to having you all come back and join us then. So until then, remember, if you're going to do business on your own terms.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.